There's a kid that's passed out. Is he breathing? I don't think so. All the rest, he got that blood on him.
It was a quiet morning in Farmington, New Mexico, until a frantic 911 call sent officers racing to the scene.
This ranks up there with one of the most brutal homicides I've ever seen.
Whoever was involved was northbound through this canyon.
We're investigating this homicide. It's not a joke.
At this point, we've got a manhunt on our hands.
He matches the type of person we're looking for, and he has blood on his pants.
What began as a routine response would soon become one of the most brutal and unforgettable cases of these officers' careers.
Get on your knees now! Get on the ground!
Officer Stephen Boitano was dispatched to the scene, unaware of the horror waiting for him in the park.
I wasn't really prepared for what I was responding to and what I would see in the coming moments.
31797. You call us, man?
No.
No? Okay. No, okay.
As I'm walking through the park, I noticed that there are kids playing on swings,
Hey, guys, stay over here for me, please. Thank you. No, stay over here. Thank you.
playing on the monkey bars, families gathering. So to the normal person, it looks like just another day at the park. I approach the 911 caller. She's frantic. She points me in the direction of a body. I noticed there was obviously lots of blood, but puncture wounds to the sternum, as well as other parts of the body. And it was clear that we had a possible murder.
The sight of the body hit hard. Officer Boitano stepped back for a moment, but there was no room for emotion now. To understand what had happened, he turned to the woman who made the 911 call.
Where are the other parties that were involved?
According to the witness, 2 boys had walked away from the area right before she stumbled upon the body.
Yeah, there was teenagers hanging out right here. They told me that they were going to start a fight, so I came out going to call the cops.
Okay.
Because I know they were drinking. They seen them drinking.
Okay.
So right when I called the cops, I went walking that way. And then when I came back, I guess they all left.
She was able to provide a few descriptions of some people that were in the area, but she didn't actually witness the crime occur.
What was the guy wearing who possibly stabbed him?
He was wearing a white t-shirt. He's about maybe almost 6 feet. And he was wearing dark blue pants.
The officer began securing the area, carefully taping off the crime scene to preserve every possible piece of evidence.
It's a major crime scene, and you really don't want to mess anything up. There's preserving the scene, there's preserving the evidence, there's setting up crime scene tape.
Soon, detectives arrived and began processing the scene, collecting evidence, documenting details, and trying to make sense of the chaos.
So as I arrived on scene, obviously we're in a park. There's heavy foot traffic within there. We're outside, we're exposed to the elements.
Medics arrived shortly after and examined the victim. His wounds told a story of extreme violence.
The wound we noticed first was the wound to the back. Then when we proceeded to move the victim, we identified 2 stab wounds to his lower left arm, as well as a large stab wound to the upper left arm, and one, when we moved the shirt again, one to the upper chest. But at the scene, there was no sharp objects that could have created those injuries to the victim.
On my time on the force, I've seen multiple homicides. This ranks up there with one of the most brutal that I've ever seen. And, the injuries that our victim had, you could tell that it was an aggressive fight between him and the aggressor.
The items that we photographed and collected from the scene were a baseball cap and a cell phone, which were in the vicinity of the victim in that area. And there were also footwear impressions, as well as bicycle tire impressions. And there was also a stick with a Y on one end and a fairly large rock.
The victim was soon identified as 28-year-old Stephen Begay. Officers had no idea where to begin. The scene stretched wide, and with so much ground to cover, Tracking the suspects felt nearly
All
impossible.
kinds of stuff. So we're
A
trying to
trail of
expand
blood
our
was found
crime
nearby,
scene out.
but they
blood
didn't
trail
know
here.
if it belonged to the victim
Yeah.
or the killer.
Let me see, where did it go?
So that blood trail kind of opens up this.
Is it a suspect's blood? Is it another victim's blood? We don't know.
Where did we get info that the suspect was leaving?
The RP was right here.
Okay.
She took off. I got all her info. She said whoever was involved was northbound through this canyon.
When we discovered the blood trail, our suspect had at least a few hours of head start on us. We've got an individual who's been out there. He's stabbed somebody. He's got a knife with him. And we got information that our suspect could have gone that direction that the blood trail was leading and could be anywhere. So now, at this point, we've got a manhunt on our hands.
Stephen lived with me off and on, and he would always come in whenever he came in the door and he'd hug me. And he would, I always say, "I love you, Grandma." He took it very hard when his mother died. He would tell me about his mom, how much he loved her and how much he missed her. We had our pictures taken one year. I think it was Christmas, and everybody came to my place and everybody wanted their picture taken. But he waited, and he was the very last one, and he says, "It's my turn." He says, "This is my grandma." He says, "I'm her baby. I'm her grandson." So he was my grandson. I just loved him.
For a man that was single and didn't have kids, the way he took care of me and all of my brother's kids, it was admirable. He was a big part of their lives. He was always playing with them. It was just funny.
All his brother's kids just love Stephen.
Oh yeah, it's got an extra later.
Stephen was really funny. And everyone would be laughing, he'd be laughing. I guess they had found out from the police officers how he had been killed. You know, and to think that he died out there by himself. And none of us were there with him. I think that really bothers the kids that they weren't there with him.
Back at the park, officers followed a blood trail and came across someone who just might lead them closer to the truth.
Hey, so what you got?
Found laying down. He's been intoxicated. We can't find anything. Water is coming, blood from his nose.
Relax, just have to eat.
You know, a little bit behind his right ear. Yeah.
So was he around where all those bags and stuff are at? Okay.
He's got blood on his pants and on his shoes. We asked where the blood came
The man was heavily intoxicated, barely coherent, but when they checked his ID, they got a name, Jules.
Okay. Yeah. Buddy, relax. Put your hand behind your back for me.
He matches the type of person we're looking for, as in clothing description. He's emotionally reactive, and he has blood on his pants.
The first thing that I thought was this very well could be our suspect. So while speaking with Jules, we've got the name of Trevor. However, we don't have a last name. It's hard to say, is this guy just giving us a different name, making us run down a different rabbit hole on something that doesn't actually exist?
Officers believed they had something, finally a lead worth chasing. But what they didn't know was just how twisted the road ahead would become.
Bro, you can't put your mouth and calm down. Shut bro, you bro.
He is extremely agitated.
Bro, you want to hear from no water?
He is just rubbing his pants on the ground. And I noticed the blood there. And I'm afraid he's trying to rub the blood off. And at this point, I'm like, why is he trying to clean off his pants?
Pants off because it has blood on it, okay? We're gonna take your blood on these pants as evidence.
Oh, dude. What? You want to fight me, bro? What? Alright.
Due to his aggressive behavior, Jules was taken into custody. Blood samples from his pants were collected and sent for DNA testing. Back at the park, officers began canvassing the area, looking for anyone who might have seen what happened.
Did you guys see anyone like take off on bikes or anything like that?
No, they're walking that way.
As we were canvassing through the area, we came in contact with 2 females that were at the park. They gave statements about 2 males that were at the basketball court that got into a confrontation, which led into one of the males pulling out a knife and threatening the other with it.
What were they wearing?
I think black. Yeah, just black.
Just black?
Yeah.
Okay.
Other witnesses echoed the same account. A confrontation had taken place at the basketball court.
Pieces are coming together, and it's pointing more towards the fact that Jules was involved in our case, so there's other things that need to be followed up on. The case must go on.
While officers were still piecing the puzzle together, a surprising phone call changed the direction of the case.
So later on that night, we received a phone call from a female who stated that her stepson was possibly involved in a stabbing.
Okay, they're surrounding, okay? Where are those people? Oh, there's a lot of them in the area, okay? There's 9 officers outside that I can see, all right?
Officers drew their weapons and surrounded the house, preparing for the worst. But to their surprise, Trustin surrendered without resistance.
We've located Trustin. Officers have him in custody. The next step at that point is to bring him back to the station and see if he's willing to talk with us.
Still there, hey. Oh no, actually I messed up on that. Oh, man. We reset then. Y'all don't like it. I didn't know what that was. I didn't know what you were. Airhead. It's Airhead. Tradition. Navajo Nation. You guys here for me? Somebody been here.
At first, Trustin appeared calm, acting as if he had nothing to do with the murder, trying to convince officers he was just another bystander.
Yeah, I'm Detective Smith from the Farmington Police Department. Okay.
Nice to meet you, Justin. Again.
Nice to meet you, Justin.
Trustin's last name was also Begay, but investigators believed there was no relation between him and the victim.
The last name of Begay is very common. It's almost like Smith, especially within the city limits of Farmington.
All right. So before I talk with you too much further, I have to read your Miranda rights.
While I was reading Trustin his juvenile Miranda rights,
I just want to call my dad.
Okay.
he advised at that point that he would like to have his father present during any questioning.
Hey, Trustin, let me have you actually take a seat right over here for me. You can do that?
Yeah.
Thanks. Yes, sir. All right. I'll be right back with you guys, okay? Oh, are they getting you some water?
Yeah, he's... I'll give him a cup.
So after Trustin's father gets in the room, I stayed outside, observed them on a closed circuit television.
Yeah, you should have stayed with me all along. I had everything for you, man. You were doing good. So what did you do now? What are you doing now? As you take care of what you did, you face the consequences. Oh, then. I thought you didn't give me half. Let's go. Just take care of what you have to do and... What is it? What do you know? What do you think's going on? You're just gonna go to court and all that. What? Stabbing that guy. I stabbed him? Oh, who stabbed him then? It was that guy Trevor.
Both suspects mentioned the same name, Trevor. His name came up not once, but twice, and the stories matched. For investigators, it was clear they had just found their main suspect.
Now that we had Trevor's name, the main thing that we wanted to do was find Trevor. Trevor was a person of interest at that point.
Well, I'm gonna give you a hug. And then I'm gonna knock the door. And if you still want me to, I'll be here, Pops. Love you, son. I love you too, Pop.
Officers moved quickly, tracing Trevor's location and bringing him in for questioning. Because Trevor was also a juvenile, he was accompanied by his father during the interrogation.
Every time I do an interview, I go into the room and just have a conversation with the person initially, try to get to know them a little bit, give them some information about me in hopes that we can build some type of rapport.
Well, Trevor, appreciate you guys coming up here and talking to me. There was a fight down at the park on the end of Robin. I've got several statements tonight from different people, and a lot of the statements say that you were there. All the statements actually say that you were there. You're nodding your head. I don't know what that means. Where did go?
Trevor wasn't responding to my questioning at all. People that can talk about a subject like that, knowing information about it, are more cold-blooded and they're harder to interview.
Why do you think that people would say you were there and that you witnessed this fight?
Because no one likes me.
Why don't people like you?
My girlfriends like me.
So do you know a Trustin Begay?
Nope.
Don't know him at all? Okay. We're investigating a homicide. It's not a joke. And from everything I've heard tonight, from multiple sources, you were there.
He appeared to be playing dumb, saying that he doesn't know anything about the incident. At this point, it's a little unnerving because maybe he's more involved than what we think he is.
When Trevor refused to talk, officers made an unusual move. They walked him out of the interview room and deliberately led him past Trustin.
Our main concern was to let them know that we're talking with both people to try to maybe use them against each other.
The hope behind that was that they would know the jig is up, that we had both of them, and that we were going to interview them, and that we would find the truth.
Detectives next returned to Trustin, waiting inside the interview room.
So, did you see the people that were walking up home? He came out.
Cops, one in red jacket. This one,
Did you see Trevor by chance?
Nope.
The guy that's involved in that?
Nope.
After I brought Trustin back into the room, we realized that we had the wrong Trevor.
As officers prepared to search for the real Trevor, an unexpected visitor walked in, a school friend of Trustin with information that could change everything. She told investigators that Trustin had shown her a video, one that placed him at the scene of the murder.
So, Trustin had a video of the fight?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't watch all of it.
But so the part that you saw, what did you see?
Just like one of the guys from the
The guy that got stabbed?
Yeah. And I don't know, I think that's all I saw. After that, my sister came in the house
Okay. So, I know you didn't see the whole video, but do you think the video shows the stabbing?
So at this point, we get the information that there's possibly a video. And holy smokes, that was a huge breakthrough at that point.
Before ending the interview, she gave officers one more crucial detail where they could find the real Trevor.
I looked inside that thing. Some blankets right there in the back seat, but I don't see anything else.
That is room. Looks like it would be, huh?
Going. How you doing? I'm Detective Smith in the police department. And you're Trevor? Yeah. Are you willing to come down to the station and talk with us for just a little bit?
Right now?
Yes, sir.
Or
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So if you stand right here real quick, I'm just gonna pat search you, make sure you don't have any weapons or anything like that on you, okay? Don't spread your feet apart for me. Thanks.
Back at the station, detectives question Trevor.
Go back to, you guys are at the park playing basketball.
Yeah.
Who's all there with you? I know you're a little nervous.
Yeah.
It's obviously something
Yeah.
that's crazy, right?
It was me, some other kids from the park.
Okay.
From the same.
Was there anybody else there that you know? Was Trustin there?
Justin was there, yes. Justin came out of nowhere.
Okay.
Trevor gives us information that he's at the park with Trustin. Trustin's been drinking. Trustin's seems to be agitated easily. And he's even involved in an altercation with another individual, Jules, just prior to the incident happening.
He started swishing him and he walked back towards the dirt roads. And that's when we seen that guy walking down too.
Jules runs into Stephen Begay. Words are kind of exchanged, and Stephen at that point, they start exchanging words between Trustin and Stephen across the park.
He started yelling at us. They started yelling at each other.
So they're walking around. I mean, is there any specific quotes that you can remember that they're saying to each other?
They're yelling at each other.
You said he pulls the knife out. You said he sticks him 3 times, correct? And you're certain of that?
Yeah.
So, with Trevor telling us that Trustin is the one who stabbed Stephen, it was extremely imperative for us to find this video to determine who had actually committed the crime. At this point, we have both Trustin and Trevor's phones, and a search is done on both phones to determine where the video is. While all this is unfolding, we try to speak with Trustin a little bit longer.
All right, so at this point, we've located Trevor.
The one that had the one who basically stabbed that guy.
Meanwhile, Trustin's father suffered a medical emergency and had to leave the interview room. With his permission, officers continued and used the opportunity to take a more aggressive approach with Trustin.
While interviewing Trustin, another detective came in the room.
No, Trevor didn't stab him. You stabbed him. He's not trying to make you upset. Okay.
It's doing anyways.
All of it.
Trustin wasn't giving us a whole lot of information at this point, but we knew in the back of our heads that we had the video and it was gonna show what happened. After conducting the search warrants on both phones, we discovered that the video was on Trustin Begay's phone, and on that video was something just horrific to sit down and watch.
Record me now.
Officers had no idea just how horrific the footage they were about to see would be before pressing the play.
We also discovered that the person doing the filming was Trevor.
I don't know, it's your phone. It's recording.
Trevor tells me after the altercation with the other individual that that other individual, Jules, runs into Stephen Begay.
The cell phone video begins with Stephen confronting Trustin. Standing up for Jules, who had just been hurt.
You down?
Of course I'm down.
Record me now.
But what happens next escalates fast. Trustin raises the stakes, and what was once a standoff turns deadly.
You got your knife, bro. Go.
Show me, you'll get a criminal record.
The video showed everything. Clear and undeniable, it captured exactly how Trustin carried out the stabbing. But even with the evidence in front of him, he still refused to tell the truth. But how long could he keep up the lie?
After several hours in the interrogation room, Trustin finally cracks.
I'm ready.
Okay.
Crosby, you already know what you know. Say I already did it, so might as well know the lie now. So honest, the best way. Sorry about lying. Yep, I did it. Yeah.
Do you remember how many times you stabbed him?
2, 3.
Trustin Begay was arrested and charged with the murder of Stephen Begay. After a week-long trial, the verdict came in, guilty of involuntary manslaughter. Because of his age at the time of the crime, he was tried under New Mexico's Children's Code and sentenced to just 2 years in prison.
To me, the irony that Trustin was attempting to act like a man, act older, try to be something I don't think he really was, and then go to court and he's tried as a juvenile doesn't quite fit and wasn't appropriate for his actions at the scene.